Hello and welcome to the very first Local Skills Improvement Plan blog, brought to you by the Kent Medway Chamber of Commerce and funded by UK Government. I'm really pleased to have with me today Brad Levy, Strategic Hub Lead, and Matt Peake, Operational Hub Lead from the Kent Medway Careers Hub, who are going to tell us all about employer standards and why employers should be involved. Hi guys.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi Camilla.
Hi. So over to you. Tell us all about the employer standards.
Thank you. So the employer standards for careers education have been shortened to the term employer standards by the Careers and Enterprise Company. And it's a new framework and self-assessment tool which has been developed by the Careers and Enterprise Company to help improve the quality of employer engagement with schools, special schools and colleges to help every young person find their best next step. So as you can see here, the employer engagement essentially is in careers education, it increases young people's motivation and attainment. And this effectively affects is even greater for those who are engaged or lower achieving. So for employers, they tell us that engaging in careers education is improving the effectiveness of their early years recruitment and helps to reduce recruitment costs and improve the diversity of their workforce. So there'll be more to come about this, but make sure that if you want to find out more about what the hub is doing, do follow the Careers and Enterprise Company or the Kent Medway Careers Hub on LinkedIn. So the ambition for the Careers and Enterprise Company and the reason why we developed the employer standards is to codify best practice so that all businesses can learn from this. So we want the seasoned professional wanting to sense check their current programs and their approach to an employer entirely to those entirely engaging, new to engaging with education. The framework that we've developed provides a clear roadmap of what leads to positive outcomes for businesses and young people, and essentially really looking at how can you raise your quality to employer engagement in careers education. Our ambition is to not only articulate that best practice, but also develop and share the practical tools and templates that businesses need to deliver this together with those the ability to signpost to expert organisations that can support with that delivery. As evidence continues to emerge, we are working collectively to get smarter, and the framework will evolve, but it will continue to provide you as employers with those easy actions to allow you to get better at engaging with the world of careers education. So what are the employer standards? Well, firstly, it's a framework that any employer can use, irrespective of your size or your experience in careers education. It allows you to just have a framework so that even if you do nothing else, you can review against the headlines and consider your work against them. The standards are grouped into 3 pillars, and they're focused on inspiring young people for the best next step, preparing, and also then collaborating for success. So inspiration is about providing meaningful opportunities to help young people see and experience the different sectors, the different business opportunities in the world of work to ensure that no young person is left behind. It allows your organisation to be inclusive, ensuring that all young people are reached, especially those with barriers and disadvantage. And it helps you to evaluate and improve your approach through feedback from young people, teachers, parents, and your own employees. Preparing young people for career readiness allows you to get involved in developing the skills of young people and show their relevance to the workplace, and helps them to prepare for job applications through mock interviews, exposure to assessment centre processes, and gives them an understanding of social media's role in recruitment. Collaboration is about building long-term commitment and sustained relationships and partnering with other businesses, but also education stakeholders, so that you're bringing careers from the margins to the mainstream and offering those experiences of work to teachers as well as young people, so that they can actually embed careers more effectively within their lessons. On top of that, the Employer Standards also provides a free online self-assessment tool with real-time results. And based on your answers and comparisons, it will allow you to look at yourself and others, and then provides a roadmap with resources showing you how to improve your practice. And then it also helps to surface and share that best practice. And later we'll be going through a quick run through and demonstration of how the Employer Standards tool works. So what are the benefits for employers? It can help solve the skills gap and provide insight into what really works. It will highlight how organizations compare with peers. And those organizations that have already used the self-assessment framework and tool, say it's helping them to plan and refine how they develop their talent pipelines, close their organizational skills gap, increase diversity, and attract jobs and apprenticeship applicants. They also tell us that it's flagging gaps in their own approach and highlighting where their outreach can be improved, so that they can achieve greater impact for both young people and their own business. So somebody that signs up to this, what do employers receive? Well, they get a framework that gives insight into key areas to make a difference, and a free online tool that takes only 25 minutes to carry out and provides immediate results, the latest evidence and tailored recommendations, and best practice and peer case studies, including short films. The framework draws on years of experience and input from employers and sector partners across England through pretty much over a decade. And even if you do nothing else, you can review the headlines and consider your work against those. On top of that, the tool gives you real-time results, and based on your answers, it will allow you to receive a personalized report that links to resources showing you how to improve. And these resources and the recommendations that come from that will give you very much like something you can do within the first month, something that you can do over 6 months, and something that you'll be able to do over the year. Here in Kent, we've had, and across the country, we've had employers taking part. And these are some of the benefits and some of the quotes that we've had. And it has allowed us to really think about how we're going to launch this further within Kent and Medway. And as a result of this, we've been able to launch with a couple of our partners as cornerstone employers, and also partners that we've worked with as employers providing experiences in the workplace. So employers in Kent and Medway, we've had the National Highways who have taken part, and Jess Power, who's a skills and capability lead at Lower Thames Crossing, said it's helped to refresh and take stock on where we are as a project within our education outreach. And the recommendations and tools available have helped us to shape our plans, and it'll be exciting to look at how we measure up in 6 to 12 months' time. Another early adopter has been Gary Allen from Wirebout, and his quotes there are particularly the idea that the information and tips that we gain from the Employer Standards have been invaluable, and as a result we've engaged with a local inclusive college and have identified training to help them become a more inclusive employer. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Matt Peake, who will take us through a short run through and a live demo of the Employer Standards tool and the benefits of taking part in that.
Thanks, Brad. My name's Matt Peake, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to complete the Employer Standards questionnaire and explain the outputs that you can receive as a result of completing the questionnaire. So first, let's look at how to register. Registration for Employer Standards only takes a few minutes. I would recommend that registration and completion of the questionnaire is done by somebody at your company who has a good overview of school engagement work that you do. For smaller businesses, this may be a business owner or one of the directors. And for larger businesses, this could be a social value manager or someone within the HR team, such as the Learning and Development Coordinator or Early Careers Manager. As well as contact details, you will be asked to provide information about the size of your business, the sector you work in, and whether you're currently working with a Careers Hub. The system will automatically link you to a Careers Hub based on the postcode that you enter at the registration stage. And this is important if you're a site with a head office based outside of Kent, because if you only include a non-Kent postcode, your results will not be included in or compared against our local data set. You may also be asked if you're happy to share information about your self-assessment with your Careers Hub. If you tick yes, then your report data will be accessible by you and by specific Careers Hub staff only, in case you should wish to discuss the report further. Other organisations will never be able to see your responses or results. Once you've completed the registration, you'll be directed to complete your free self-assessment. You can do this immediately, or you can come back to it at a later date by logging in via the Careers and Enterprise Company website page. So, once you've checked that you've registered using the correct number of employees, which is important so that you can access the relevant question set, you have the opportunity to specify who you're assessing, whether it's your whole organisation, a site, a department, or yourself as a sole trader. The self-assessment typically takes between 20 and 30 minutes to complete. It will definitely be easier if you have the key information to hand, so you may need to check with colleagues in advance. You have an option to download the full set of questions as a PDF to help with this. You can stop the survey and come back to it partway through if you need to gather additional information. The survey automatically saves each time you input answers in draft form. You'll be asked a set of questions to determine the quality of your careers education activities and approach. The questions are all answered by tick boxes or drop-down lists, and so there's no requirement to type any answers. When we say careers education activities, what we mean is any activities that you do with young people, schools or colleges that are for the benefit of increasing young people's awareness, aspirations and preparedness for the world of work. Your answers should be about the careers education activities that you've done over the last year by whoever you're answering on behalf of. Again, this could be your whole organisation, a site, a department, or yourself as a sole trader, depending on what you selected during the initial registration. Remember, your scores will never be shared in an identifiable way, so be accurate to support your own improvement and receive the most relevant resources in your recommendations report to help you prioritise your next steps. I know it might look as though there are a lot of questions here, but only a selection of these will be presented to you based on your answers, and the answer options are simple and consistent to make answering easier. Once you've completed your first self-assessment, you then get the option to use previous sets of answers and amend where necessary rather than starting from scratch. So, at the end of the survey, you'll be able to see your results immediately, and the website will store your results so you can review these at any time. The results will be shown for each of the three main pillars: inspire, prepare, and collaborate, and against each of the 9 standards individually. All businesses are different, so there's no pass mark in this, and there's no expectation that companies should be scoring 100%. This is all about helping you to identify where your strengths and areas for development are so that you can position your careers education engagement in a way that is most appropriate for your business. You're able to compare results against anonymised data at a national, sector and regional level. You can see that for each standard, there is a comparison bar. In this case, it's for national average, but you can also switch to the top 10 companies nationally, the top 10% nationally, companies in your sector as defined in the registration process, and other companies within your region as defined in the registration process. In addition to this, when you've completed more than one self-assessment, and we recommend you do this annually, you'll be able to see historic submissions and your progress over time compared to the national average. You do that by selecting the self-assessments that you've done in the past and compare progress. And what this does is it shows you in bar form the most recent one you did compared to previous, and then in graph form your earliest one against your latest submission against the national average for that point in time. So, knowing where you've been and where you are is great, but the real value in this tool is showing where you can go from here. And if we look at our latest results and the recommendations, we can see that the recommendations section includes a set of reporting where you'll be directed to the most appropriate resources to help you improve, along with evidence as to why achieving each standard is important. For each of the 9 standards, you can find a single page of suggested actions to consider doing now, over 6 months, and over 12 months. And these are specific to your size business and where you are in your careers engagement at the moment. So let's take a look at one of these recommendation reports. And if we select Standard 2, about being inclusive, we can see that even though the score is quite high, there are suggestions based on the responses given in the questionnaire. The today's suggestion includes things like examining the range of educational settings and communities you already work with, as well as tips on how your Careers Hub could increase your access to more settings and simple steps you can take to make your activities more accessible. In the 6-month suggestion, this includes things that will take longer to embed, like moving from raising awareness to taking positive action, such as becoming an enterprise advisor in a special educational needs school. And the 12-month suggestion includes things that will take even longer to embed and may take more resource to accomplish. In this case, increasing engagement with parents and teachers associated with disadvantaged groups. You also have links to video case studies and other free resources throughout the recommendations report. So what next? If you've liked what you've seen here and you want to complete your own self-assessment, you can go to the Careers and Enterprise Companies website and click on Employers and look at the Employer Standards page there, or you can contact myself or Brad, and those details will be available later. And together we can help every young person to find their best next step. Back over to you, Brad, to talk about what happens next.
Thank you, Matt. So in a nutshell, this is what the employer standards can do for you and what it provides. It's a framework that's built around 9 standards. It's suitable for all businesses of all sizes and sectors. It's a 25-minute online self-assessment and provides you with instant results that allow you to compare against others, but also look at how you can introduce tailored solutions and suggestions for your own company. It allows you to track progress over time and provides tangible benefits for employers, but also, and most importantly, provides improved experiences for young people to find their best next step. As Matt said, you can get started by visiting the CEC website, or you can scan this QR code in this presentation, or go through to the website. But once you scan the QR code, it will take you straight through to the employer portal and allow you to register for the free assessment. So thank you for your time today. Just in a nutshell, the employer standards, is the new framework and self-assessment tool, and will allow you to provide a way to shape your workforce of tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Brad and Matt for sharing that very detailed insight into the employer standards. I think it's a fantastic tool that I think employers, spend a little bit of time thinking about the work that they do and help them kind of understand how their engagement is affecting people. But I do have one question for you, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm coming from a small business and I don't have the resources to hand that a larger business might have with regards to wanting to do engagement or being able to understand what is available to me as a small business, would I use this tool as a way of being able to see what I do, or is this tool useful for me to understand as a small business how I can get involved in what is available to me as a small business without those resources?
I think both. Absolutely. It will give you a starting point and a sense of what you may be able to do, but because it allows you to look at what you can do instantly and how you can plan for the future. And even if you work on one of the standards or one of the pillars, you will be some way further than you were when you first started. And if you then engage with your Careers Hub, we would be able to give you access to the range of resources and the opportunities and tools that you might not have had access to if you were a larger organization. And I think as a hub, the concept and the idea of being a hub is about how we bring those smaller businesses closer to the Careers Hub so that they can actually get involved in some of the great work that has happened already with some of the larger organizations.
And actually, that's a really good point, actually, Brad, because if I was to do this assessment, this self-assessment, and it gave me a list of recommendations across all of the 9 standards, is there an expectation on me as an employer to work on all of those 9 standards within the 12 months, or can I pick the ones that I feel I can work towards more easily, or how would it be viewed by employers, do you think?
I think either pick the ones that you can start most easily, or pick the ones that are most important to you as an organization and what is it you are trying to achieve as a result of taking part in the employer standards. I would suggest that coming into this, you may have an idea on what you would like to start with, and it would then give you a bit of an option of, well, okay, either I'm completely right, and this is what I want to start with, or there's something that I hadn't even thought about that we could do that's really simple and easy and will be effective for both for the local community, but for our business as well. And I think, and then reaching out to your hub is the next step, which is then saying, I've got this recommendation. I'm still not quite sure how I want to start or how I can go about this. Can you give me some support with that? And the hub is there to provide that support.
Absolutely. And that was actually going to be my next question. The hub's involvement in this is really hands-on. So if anybody wanted to reach out and say, I need some advice and guidance, you're always there to support if needed.
Absolutely. Either myself or Matt, our operational hub lead, who is responsible for the employer engagement across the hub, he would be there to support you in any way, shape or form, so that you can actually begin to really engage with this process, as are myself and also Sam, who's our other operational hub lead.
Wonderful. And it's probably worth noting as well is that this isn't the only thing that you do. The Careers Hub has lots of other activities that employers can be involved in as well that you can talk through should people reach out.
Absolutely. Ways of providing teacher encounters, ways of providing workplace experiences at the workplace, moving away from the traditional work experience model and potentially giving that young person that safari through a number of different opportunities and options within one organization, and then also becoming an enterprise advisor, as was mentioned by Matt, that volunteer that engages more strategically, but also operationally with a local school, and allows them to really start to shape how schools are developing their careers program. Is there anything else, Matt, that you wanted to add?
No, I think that bear in mind that as a careers hub, we have contacts and reach across over 162 secondary schools and colleges, all the way from Dartford to Dover and down to New Romney. So if you are interested, we will be able to put you in touch and connect you with a school near to you.
Wonderful, that's fantastic. Thank you again, Brad, Matt, for your time today and showing us the employer standards tool. On the screen there is some contact details. What I just want to end with is really identifying for the employers that are going to be watching this this video. Is this tool is a fantastic opportunity to really understand what you already do as an organisation in terms of engagement, but what else you could do that might improve your practices internally as well as offering experiences for young people. And so it's a fantastic tool. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. There will be more vlogs coming from the local skills improvement plan team, some helpful team over the next few months. So do stay tuned. But for today, thank you, Matt, and thank you, Brad, and thank you for joining us on the first LSIP vlog. Take care, everyone.